Thank you for joining us for another edition of National Focus. I'm Colette Ambo. Our top stories this news time: Prime Minister Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit presented a tax-free budget to Parliament on Wednesday. Dominica impresses with the geothermal plant, and Tropical Depression 2 weakens into a tropical wave. Stay with us for details of the headline stories and others after this.
Did you know the Caribbean Court of Justice is two courts in one? The CCJ has two functions: an original jurisdiction, which deals with your right to move between CARICOM countries freely and your right to move your money and your business. This is the basis of the CARICOM Single Market and Economy, CSME, and the revised Treaty of Chaguaramas, and an appellate jurisdiction to hear appeals from courts of those countries which decide to use it as their final court of appeal and no longer go to the Privy Council. All CARICOM member states who have signed the agreement establishing the CCJ are members of the CCJ.
Thanks for staying with us. Dominica's Prime Minister and Minister for Finance and Information Technology, Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit, presented a tax-free budget to Parliament on Wednesday. The Honorable Prime Minister sought parliamentary approval for estimates of expenditure for the financial year ending June 30th, 2015, amounting to $489,975,480. The budget was presented at the first meeting of the 5th session of the 8th Parliament at the House of Assembly in Roosevelt. It was the Dominica leader's 11th budget presentation and is the last before the next general elections. The Dominica leader told Parliament that despite the global economic crisis, the current administration has been able to take actions in the best interest of Dominicans.
The necessity of an election does not mean that we deviate from the characteristics that are the hallmark of this government's management of public finances and the economy generally. After 11 years as Minister for Finance, I have not taken a gamble with the management of government resources, and from all reports, the fiscal policies of this government have served this country, Dominica, very well.
Under capital expenditure, the Ministry of Public Works, Energy and Ports has been allocated $57.5 million for continuation of infrastructural works and the production of geothermal energy. $31.9 million have been allocated to the Ministry of Housing for the continuation of government's Housing Revolution program. $21.8 million has been allocated to the Ministry of Employment, Trade, Industry and Diaspora Affairs. The Prime Minister announced the commencement of major projects in the new financial year, including enhancements to the capital city and the second town of Portsmouth, and the commissioning of the Venezuelan-funded coffee processing plant. The 2014-2015 budget also included relief packages for nationals, including the removal of VAT on the service charges at hotels, the removal of import duties on adult and children disposable diapers, the introduction of a cost of living grant for senior citizens, and the reduction of personal income tax.
Government believes that the best way to bring direct relief to citizens is through a reduction in personal income tax, giving each employee more money in his or her pocket. In that regard, Madam Speaker, effective 1st January 2015, the non-taxable allowance will be increased from $20,000 per annum to $25,000 per annum. As a result of this policy, anyone earning $25,000 and less per annum, or $2,083 or less per month, will not pay personal income tax. This equates to an additional 1,508 people will no longer pay income tax in Dominica.
Meantime, President of Dominica, His Excellency Charles Savre, inspected a guard of honor, including contingents of officers of the Commonwealth of Dominica Police Force, Fire and Ambulance Service, and the Music Lovers Government Band. The country's head of state then addressed Parliament.
The United Nations Secretary General Ban Ki-moon launched the United Nations International Year of Small Island Developing States and announced that the third International Conference on Small Island Developing States will be held from the 1st to the 4th of September this year in Apia, Samoa. The Secretary General explicitly affirmed that, quote, the challenges facing small island developing states are challenges that confront us all, and all of us must be determined to find solutions that will ensure a brighter future for generations to come. This appeal should encourage all of us in this country to think positively and to stir all of us on to action. As a people, we should be inspired to find creative and innovative ways to deal with the challenges facing us in this unique island of ours and to achieve greater success.
GIS News will bring you much more from the 2014-2015 budget presentation and the President's address to Parliament in subsequent newscasts. In more news, when the team of advocates for green energy met to discuss the necessity of a Caribbean Center for Renewable Energy and Energy Efficiency earlier this week, they were taken on a tour of Dominica's geothermal plant in the Roosevelt Valley. At the close of their meeting, GIS News got feedback from the international and regional delegates. The general consensus is that Dominica is in fact leading the region in the way of green energy development. David Muckenhuber is program coordinator for the Austrian Development Agency.
I have to say I was very impressed because you see, everybody knows the boiling lake when it comes to Dominica, so people think about tourism, but then again that you have to say that it's not a big step from going from the tourism project to an energy project, because you can make use of the boiling lake and of the energy that you have underground here to almost cover the entire energy needs of the whole country, which is really impressive. So I really wish you much success with this project, and I wish for the people of Dominica that this plant goes online as planned.
The Austrian Development Agency has partnered with SIDSDOC and the United Nations Industrial Development Organization for the establishment of green energy centers for seeds around the world. Muckenhuber says his government is a veteran advocate for renewable energy.
Austria is very blessed itself with a lot of hydropower and wind energy and sources of renewable energy. So for this reason, the Austrian government is very keen on also promoting the use of sustainable energy and renewable energy with our development partners. For this reason, we have been supporting the United Nations Industrial Development Organization for many years now, and when they first set up the center in the West African region, we then could see that this was a really successful model, that this is a flagship project to show, because this center served to promote the use of renewable energy and of energy efficiency on a regional level. So accordingly, then we signed more contracts with UNIDO. We are supporting the center in the Eastern African region as well in the Southern African region. So we can see that this is really a successful showcase and a good way to promote RE and EE in a big region. So it was only a logical consequence that also already in the Caribbean region, where we have been supporting already a couple of programs in the field of renewable energy, we would also support UNIDO when they would promote the setup of the center here in the region.
Jan Harkey, director of the Clinton Climate Initiative Clean Energy, told GIS News that the foundation has been working with at least 25 small island developing states and SIDSDOC in the area of clean energy. He spoke freely about Dominica's geothermal energy pursuits.
I think that it goes hand in hand really to have the nature island be producing clean energy for its entire sector, both in hydro and soon in geothermal. So it's an extraordinary opportunity to help people's lives be better and to change the destiny of this whole country. And I think then lead the region.
Dr. Albert Binger is the coordinator of SIDSDOC. the organization championing the cause of energy for small island developing states around the world. Dr. Binger says he sees the geothermal plant as a solution to poverty for Dominicans.
I made one comment to my chair, Ambassador Henderson, that somebody was saying that it's like poison, you know, that what will come out of it is poison. And I kind of smiled and I said the only poison I know really is poverty, from people not having no money and from them big electricity bill. But actually, that is the antidote. You know, you develop your geothermal, you bring down your price of electricity, people can have more electricity, cheaper electricity, them can set up a little small business because now them can manage the electricity bill. And basically on the technical side of it, the whole emissions that will come from the plant is when you cook your pot on Sunday, don't you get steam coming off your pot? Well, that is all going to come from the plant, steam.
Dominica's permanent representative to the United Nations and chairman of the SIDS-DOC Steering Committee, His Excellency Dr. Vince Henderson, led that tour of the geothermal plant.
This is just, I mean, it was absolutely wonderful. It was amazing. They were, for them, again, one of them said, and I quote him, seeing is believing, because they heard about it. And there were people who had doubts, really didn't believe that we had done all of this complex science. We've drilled them about a mile down and be able to get steam that is of the quality to generate electricity. So they were excited. There was a lot of anticipation. After we completed the drilling of the first production well, there was a lot of excitement within the renewable energy community, and they were anxious to see that.
Ambassador Henderson affirmed that Dominica is being regarded in a positive light as a result of the Labour Party government's geothermal endeavor.
One thing that came out from the tour as well, they were impressed with the leadership that Dominica has given to pursuing renewable energy, especially geothermal. And they recognize how we've moved that process very responsibly, paying attention to environmental concerns, being able to do it with partners, bringing partners together as we did with the French and our neighbors from Martinique and Guadeloupe, and then bringing in other agencies, the Clinton Climate Initiative from the Clinton Foundation, and getting all these partners to assist us, to provide to us the best advice so that we get it right. And I think that for them, they've highlighted Dominica as a best practice, because Dominica has been able to give the leadership, but at the same time, been able to bring international agencies and organizations to assist us to ensure that we get it right.
Apart from its scheduled month of activities to promote literature in Dominica, the Nature Island Literary Festival has also launched outreach programs to engage the country's youngest readers. At the Literary Festival's official launching ceremony held on Friday, July 18th at the UWI Open Campus, MC Kimon Joseph informed that these outreach programs took the form of a reading challenge and children's workshop on tour.
We invite children of particular ages to participate by reading 5 books along with us during 4 to 5 months, and they participate in blogs as well. And then during the festival this year, they will also be highlighted, and their efforts and their reading and their discussion of the books that they have read will be highlighted. We also have had the children's workshop on tour, which was very successful this year. We were able to visit 3 primary schools and covered a wide range of primary schools in particular districts, not only serving those schools where we were. So we went to La Plaine, and we had all the children from the Southeast District there. We went to Maho and had children from Massac Primary, Campbell and Warner there as well. We went to Grand Bay and had children from Bacatel, Picheley and Tetmon at that event as well.
Dr. Shaila Esprit, last year's featured speaker at the festival, gave a more detailed overview of these programs.
Getting children and school-age children, primary and secondary schools involved in reading, in appreciation of literature, and in writing, creative writing as well. And so the reading challenge, which kicked off in April, is going on right now. And this month they're actually reading a play by Derek Walcott, and the play is Tisha and His Brother. So we're asking parents to encourage their children to participate. The age range is from 10 to 15 years old, and they can get books to borrow at the public library. So those are available. I also want to highlight that this year we were able to reach between 250 and 300 children by doing our children's workshop on tour. That is quite a feat for our first time trying that, and so I'm very happy to see that so many parents encouraged their children to attend, and so many teachers got involved and helped us, volunteered their time to help us pull off these successful events.
The annual children's workshop held prior to the opening of the festival is scheduled for Saturday, August 2nd from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the UWI Open Campus. The Old Mill Children's Theatre Group will also have its time under the spotlight with the staging of its version of Shakespeare's classic Romeo and Juliet. The 2014 Nature Islands Literary Festival will be celebrated under the theme The Play's the Thing, celebrating Caribbean theatre. As part of the Discover Dominica Authority's mandate to increase visitor arrivals and foreign exchange earnings to the island, the organization has partnered with Outpost Magazine, a travel, adventure, and culture magazine based in Canada. In an exclusive interview with GIS News on Monday, July 21st, CEO and Director of Tourism of the DDA, Colin Piper, said the DDA recognized the need to reach out to Canadian nationals through the magazine.
One of the things we wanted to do was do a specific campaign reaching out to the folks in Canada. And Outpost Magazine is a magazine that is read by a number of Canadians. And we felt had content that would be that would resonate well with people looking to travel for things like adventure and hiking. And so the content in Dominica would be well placed within that magazine and would be received well by their readers.
Piper noted that the DDA created a photo contest that will entice readers and encourage them to participate to win an all-inclusive trip to Dominica.
We embarked on a campaign where we're going to, I think, put 4 placements of advertising in Outpost Magazine, but the call to action is really for the photo contest, which will entice the readers of the magazine to enter, some of their best photos and win a trip to Dominica. So the grand prize being a trip to Dominica. Certainly people who are interested will look up Dominica and find out more information about the place. And the hope is that even if they don't win the contest, certainly that as they think about vacationing, that they will consider Dominica as a place to vacation.
According to the CEO, this venture is one of the first to be done by the DDA in Canada. He noted that the collaboration between the DDA and Outpost Magazine is beneficial as the content of the magazine resonates with Dominica's portrayal as the nature island.
Contests and those types of things are a very effective way of getting the consumers to engage, and Outpost Magazine being all about the outdoors and being about a subject matter that resonates well with Dominica, we thought it was a good match.
Piper further noted that long-term planning is the key to attracting visitors to the island.
We don't fool ourselves into believing that people hear about Dominica today and travel tomorrow. No. People already have vacations planned for next year and maybe the year after, but we need to start getting into their consideration set. So the first thing to do is to acquire the names, see if we can get some quick hits from Outpost. But in acquiring the names, then we'll do a sustained campaign of newsletters and information about Dominica. And the hope is that, you will turn some of those into actual visitors, given probably within the next 2 to 3 years.
Weather officials have advised that Tropical Depression 2 has weakened into a tropical wave. The weather system will, however, generate showers, isolated thunderstorms, and gusty winds across portions of the island chain during the next 24 hours. Nationals have been advised to remain vigilant and exercise caution during the passage of the system. Moderate to rough sea conditions are expected during the next 24 hours, with swells peaking near 10 feet. A small craft advisory is in effect for above normal seas. And that's the English news. McPherson St. Luce is next with the Creole highlights.
Allô tout le monde, bienvenue à ces nouvelles en créole. Non moins, c'est McPherson St. Luce. Premièrement, Premier ministre Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit fait présentation budget plus que 480 millions de dollars en parlement jeudi. Si l'on présentation Honorable Skerrit, musique et budget là en l'intérêt dominicain, si l'on pièce taxe 9 moun ni pour payer. Plaisir musique annoncé au Premier ministre Skerrit qui bénéficie dominicain. Premier ministre aussi annoncé que le gouvernement a mis en place avant ça a créé safety net programme, bagage social économique, tout ça qui reste en place en budget salaire. Honorable Skerrit remercie Dominicain pour supporter le dernier budget là et puis qu'a gardé le fonds implémentation salaire qui est en bénéfice population là. Premier ministre a annoncé que le gouvernement qui continue à se chimer développement il à présent, a donc un manière de ressources à payer en ordre, ça c'est affaire l'argent. Chef opposition, Honorable Hector John, qu'a expecté pour adresser présentation budget là demain à jeudi. Président His Excellency Charles Savin aussi adressé Parlement jeudi. En notre nouvelle, réunion Guambé qui commence à le 25 juillet, ça c'est mois ça là. Si l'homme Parlement, Honorable Justin Charles, célébration réunion là bien significant pour libération et puis monde rebranché et puis communauté ailleurs.
Activité réunion Guambé nous a commencé le 25 en mois juillet et nous a bout le 3 en mois août avec quand nous parler contre l'émancipation, on peut dire nous avons célébré même l'émancipation avec durant la réunion ça là nous avons expecté autant de différents pays, l'autre pays, avec comment on peut parler, on ça dire autant de gens commencent à rentrer. So nous mener moun pour joindre famille pour nous vivre faire un sel même si yo loin nous mais pour yo changer route pour yo changer tout ça qu'a fait Guambé et pour yo même ça continuer apprécier village là yo sortir dedans pour yo vivre unite avec famille yo avec amis yo. So nous sont là pour nous pendant nous ka gérer nous ka enjoy nous ka amener tout le monde ensemble.
En notre nouvelle, management Solid Waste Dominica bien plaisir pour programme Recyclable. Si l'officier relations publiques Geno Jacob, ça bien important pour la coopération là.
Nous sommes bien contents de répondre là et de manière qui venir à bord et puis nous à Solid Waste pour faire que nous masser ces ordres là. Nous aussi dit qui fait ça une fois par mois, fortnight, tous les d'autres fortnight, une fois par mois. Et bien, nous signé un programme et puis déjà là nous avons massé aujourd'hui à la coutume même été dehors nous qui continuer à masser qu'on la coutume mais pour programme ça là c'est une fois par mois nous avons essayé de ça fait masser tout en un seul coup mais nous content à aller nous regarder si ça a marché manière nous voulons marcher mais nous avons des monde pour venir à bord et puis Solid Waste fait certain que yo voit Solid Waste comme pas seulement une compagnie gouvernement pas quoi mais nous tous en Dominique nous fait certain que nous aboire ces Solid Waste et puis payer l'argent vous savez pour service là Solid Waste bon service là Solid Waste nous et puis fait que nous fait ça parce que nous besoin l'argent là pour nous ça payer ces gens qui travaillent sur truck là pour gagner diesel pour truck là marcher et puis généralement pour faire ça que tout bête en Solid Waste marcher.
Finalement police neuf qui a dans ça qui concerne gender qui a adressé situation à présent pour l'homme et puis femme. C'est le directeur Bureau Gender Rosie Brown plaisir aspect qu'a été hors à là pendant un changement pour place en neuf là.
Et still maintain et peut quitter à la première police là. Mais ça il fait plus relevant pour actuellement. Aussi il y a des trois qui neuf parce que dans dernier là nous partons ni ça qui est climate change and natural resource management. So dans police neuf là ça là c'est un qui a double parole. Et aussi en premier policy là nous tenons agriculture comme économic gender and economic development mais vous voyez ça là il fait important que vous mettez agriculture du bout par koy. So ça c'est un area par koy qui pas tellement neuf bon neuf. Un autre area aussi c'est labor and employment. Il partait en policy, premier policy là comme ça, il était en bas économie. Mais vous voyez ça là, il fait particulier par koy.
Messieurs, mesdames, ça c'est tout pour nous faire en créole pour à présent. Non, moi, c'est McPherson Luce. Au revoir.
Coming up next, some ways you can reduce your carbon footprint.
Did you know the Caribbean Court of Justice is two courts in one? The CCJ has two functions: an original jurisdiction, which deals with your right to move between CARICOM countries freely and your right to move your money and your business. This is the basis of the CARICOM Single Market and Economy, CSME, and the revised Treaty of Chaguaramas, and an appellate jurisdiction to hear appeals from courts of those countries which decide to use it as their final court of appeal and no longer go to the Privy Council. All CARICOM member states who have signed the agreement establishing the CCJ are members of the CCJ.
You asked for it. See more evidence of development right here on the Government Information Service.
Did you know that leaving your car at home twice a week can cut greenhouse gas emissions by 1,600 pounds per year, according to the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency? Here are some ways you can reduce your carbon footprint for cleaner, greener Earth. Don't idle. Remind vehicle owners or drivers to turn off engines when vehicles are parked. Exhaust from idling vehicles can pollute air in and around the transport. Tread lightly. Use public transportation, carpool, walk, or bike whenever possible to reduce air pollution and save on fuel costs. Make your home an Energy Star. When you do home maintenance, also do a home energy audit to find out how you can save money by making your home more energy efficient. E-cycle. Take your old computer, DVD player, or other electronics to a business which recycles old electronics. E-cycling helps avoid land, air, and water pollution by capturing and reusing hazardous substances such as lead or chromium. Remember, everyone can make a difference. And that's all for this edition of National Focus. We always welcome your suggestions and comments. Drop us an email at gis@dominica.gov.dm or visit our website news.gov.dm. Friend us on our Facebook page, facebook.com/GIS News Dominica. You can also catch up on past National Focus newscasts on our GIS Dominica YouTube channel. On behalf of the entire news production team, I'm Colette Ambo. Thanks for watching and join us again next time on National Focus.